Hello everybody, welcome to my chocobo racing build guide. I'm not really sure what to call this one, so this is actually super late in the game. Actually, we've already beaten the game at this point. So to be honest, this is super late to be doing this kind of stuff, but I just wanted to show you guys kind of like how I built my, I actually built a black chocobo, which I actually don't think that that's the best choice either for a racing chocobo. I think there are better ones, but I wanted a black one, so it's my favorite color, okay? So there. So that's why. I'm actually just starting out here with just leveling it, obviously. We're going with, it looks like potent. I'm not sure if I ended up doing potent all the way. I think there's a good chance, though. So we'll see how this this plays out. The black one can be a little bit trickier to level up. So the goal for our strength and magic are, I believe, 800. And in order to get to 800, again, it's going to be, it's probably a little tricky. So we'll just have to watch here what levels I'm doing what here. So I'm having a trouble seeing what level my chocobo is actually at right now. This looks like, okay, that's 70 right there. So we've used potent all the way so far. The only thing I could think of, I may need to use power crystals here towards the end. We'll see. I don't know though. I'm really curious what or if I ended up doing that at all. The problem with that, oh, and here we are. So it looks like starting at level 86 going to 87, I started using power crystals. And then I made it to, what is that, 97? It looks like it, yeah. So then 97 to 98, I went back to potent. I don't know how important it is to do those exact levels, but if you notice there, I did hit 803 strength. With no strength, like passive, on that black chocobo, which was the goal. I believe by doing that, I still do need though to infuse magic plus. I think it's going to be probably a plus 35% just to break that 800 magic stat. So keep that in mind. Now, this chocobo, I don't know. I don't think this ended up being my final like racing chocobo, so keep that in mind here with these with the passives that I infuse on it. This was kind of just a throwaway chocobo where I don't know. I guess I just I wanted to knock out some of the races. So again, the thing with the chocobo racing is you don't need to have every single ability like possible, which is not actually viable anyway. But like, so basically, the way it works is there's 4 different strategies that your chocobo can kind of go into. Now, I've read that the blue streak is the best one. I'm not even saying that I disagree. It very well might be the best one, but I actually went with let's see here. I'm trying to think of which one I did here. I think I might have went with lightning bolt. We'll see. I'll adjust my strategy, I'm sure, once I actually start racing it. But I actually ended up going with passives that kind of help that one out. Because there's different infusion abilities that will help the different strategies. Like, so one of them is, okay, so like I was saying earlier, the different strategies. One is supersonic, one is lightning bolt, one is turbo, and one is blue streak. And basically the way they work is supersonic and lightning bolt are kind of favorable to, or the strategy that your chocobo will use is kind of to stay at the front of the pack, whereas lightning bolt, turbo and blue streak is kind of the opposite. They'll try to, kind of lag either towards the center or towards the back of the pack, and then they'll like, come up from behind and do the surprise ones. But to be honest, I don't really like that. I'd rather stay out in front, and it's actually really easy to win that way. with a fully developed chocobo at the best stats, 800 and above for both magic and strength, I never lost. And there were a lot of races where I didn't even need to use the turbo ability. I think there were a couple that had I not used the turbo ability, I would have lost. But boy, it was a handful, and I did a lot of racing. So again, I prefer that strategy. You do what you want to do. If you find that you want to use some other one, go ahead. But keep in mind that is the strategy that I went with. Again, I can't remember now if I went with I think it was lightning bolt though. We'll see. We're about to find out. Well, I should say we're going to find out towards the end here. So I actually brought my chocobo here into race, and then I didn't really do any racing with it. But it looks like... Okay, so this was my old chocobo. So actually, I kind of had two throwaway racing chocobos, to be honest. I started out with a red one, which... the red ones are actually pretty decent to build, too. And the great thing about the red one is that you get them really early on. The black one, you actually have to go to... I think those are in Vile Peaks. So they can be a little bit tougher to get a hold of. So again, if you want a really early game, I would actually go with the red one. I think that those ones are, they're plentiful on the Arcite Steppe. Really easy to get a hold of. So again, that's kind of what I would recommend as like a starter chocobo. But if you do all your racing towards the end of the game, which I don't recommend. I think that as soon as you can get into Serendipity is a good time to start racing. Just because really the biggest one is the collector's catalog, which is one of the rewards for one of the races, and I just think that one's amazing. It's a great ability. So, anyways, all right. So we're going to start knocking out some infusions here with the black chocobo. Now, if you notice here, my oops, what do we got going here? Okay, yeah, we're just going into infusions. The order that you do these infusions, unfortunately, can be a little bit complicated, which is, it's kind of annoying. Just the way that you have to lock the abilities if you want to keep certain ones. And unfortunately for racing, there's a lot of abilities that are kind of like inferior in Final Fantasy XIII's infusion system. So in order to keep some of those, you need to yellow lock them. So we'll just see here what I'm doing now. Obviously, I've kind of lost track of where we're at here. But it looks like we're infusing Chain Bonus Boost and Ally KO Power Surge, which I believe are both good abilities that we want to use, or infuse, sorry. So I'm just trying to look at which ones those are actually at. And then here I'm obviously just grabbing some monsters to infuse. So unfortunately, with those monsters that you need to yellow lock, you actually need to grab two of them. And that was the case with this Ceratopraptor. Because again, I wanted to yellow lock both of those. So that was Chain Bonus Boost as well as Ally KO Surge. Ally KO Surge is one of those abilities that's hard to keep. So that's actually that looks like Blue Streak, which is weird. I don't think that that was necessarily one of the abilities that I really cared that much about. So that's kind of interesting. We'll see. We'll see how this all played out. But yeah, LA KO Power Surge. Yeah, that looks like that's Blue Streak, which again is not the strategy that I think I used, which is again sort of weird. So we'll see. We'll see how this all played out. But that may have been a redundant ability, and who knows? Maybe I knocked that off later on. So this one, it looks like I'm going for Feral Speed 2. Let me just take a look here. Which one is Feral Speed 2? Always kind of, I'm going back after doing this, quite some time ago. Okay, so that's a Tension Hog. It says your chocobo stats are increased when it's the favorite for the race. Don't really know what that means, but the sound of increased stats sounds good. So that's what we're going with. All right, and here we're just... that one was infusing, what was that, Kill Libra? Yeah. So, Kill Libra is... Kill Libra, Limelight. Your chocobo stats are increased for graded races. So again, looking for better stats. I'm kind of wondering now if those abilities are even useful on a chocobo that has 800 strength as well as 800 magic. I don't have the answer for that, so I apologize. Some of these abilities, though, like some of the abilities are just, in my opinion, completely junk. So there's no reason to even bother infusing them. But the ones that I'm picking here are ones that I thought that were more useful. Again, now with these increased stats infusions, I'm not sure whether or not those are even useful for a chocobo that's got over 800 strength and 800 magic. I really question that. Again, I don't have the answer. I'm not really sure, but I can tell you, I never lost any race that I was actually paying attention to. As well as a lot of them, the vast majority of them, I could have won had I just put the controller down. So, again, keep that in mind. It just kind of worked out, I guess. But anyways, so the next infusion here, let's see what we're at. So, okay, so it looks like I might be trying to get rid of Ally KO Power Surge now that I'm looking at it. So if you can see now that it's no longer yellow locked, which would indicate actually that I've infused 3 monsters with the Ally KO Power Surge, as you'll know. So if you infuse once, you'll just have the ability. If you infuse a second time, you'll yellow lock it, and then infusing that same ability one more time will actually un-yellow lock it, or unlock, I guess, however you want to say that. And then you can potentially get rid of it if you want to. So again, that's kind of what it's looking like, what I'm doing. And the reason for that specifically is if you noticed earlier, the monster that I was using, it looked like I wanted. So actually, the way it looks like now is that I wanted to keep chain bonus boost. So I had to yellow lock that, but at the same time, when I yellow locked chain bonus boost, it yellow locked Ally KO Power Surge. So again, now I had to grab a monster that had Ally KO Power Surge, but not the chain bonus boost in order to keep chain bonus boost. Again, I know it sounds super complicated, and unfortunately, the infusions and yellow locking kind of is complicated. The key is, I would say the key for that, to really get the system down, is just repetition. Once you get kind of comfortable with how it works, you get the feel for what you need to do. And again, unfortunately, that can take a little bit of time, but that's kind of the way it goes. So, anyways, all right, getting back to infusions here. Oh, it looks like, actually, we're not getting back to infusions. We're going back to the Historia Crux, it looks like. Oh, saving. Sorry, my bad. But yeah, we'll have to, again, with the infusions here, with the, kind of like the chocobo racing, unfortunately, again, if you want certain abilities, you just kind of have to go through this process, which, again, it's a little annoying. It's just the problem with the game is the way the infusions are set up is there's like a priority list. So if you try infusing something with a really high priority, it can be really difficult to take it back off. And again, that's what yellow locks are for. So the order, So the order of your infusions is also going to be very important. So what I mean by that is, again, if you're infusing specifically things that are really high priority, what you actually want to do is infuse stuff that's low priority and lock it first, which is, again, kind of what I'm doing here. So chain bonus boost is one of those that unfortunately has a really low priority. And so oftentimes when you're doing infusions here, you'll need to, yellow lock those less, I don't know, yeah, I guess that's the low priority ability. So, again, that is exactly what I'm doing now. It looks like I'm headed over here to try to grab a Microchew. Microchew actually has a lot of infusion abilities for chocobo racing. So, one of those is Health Nut, which is, I think it's rapid recovery from the Microchew. And there's a couple more here. Dark Horse is one of them. Dark Horse, unfortunately, though, you can't really use. when you've got, actually I think it's with Health Nut. I don't think that works. So Dark Horse just says offers improved gambling odds on your chocobo, but yeah, I don't think that actually works because your chocobo's condition never changes because you've got Health Nut. So yeah, it's arguable whether or not that's useful at all. But all right. So anyways, we've got critical vigilance and item scavenger locked now. Again, though, those are two lower priority abilities than some of the ones that that I wanted to put on here. So keep that in mind. It looks like the next step is to lock critical shell, which is, what was that? The Bama Pama, something like that. It's hard to make out the monster enemies sometimes when I'm making these videos, just because my my screen is a little bit smaller than I'd like it to be. But you know, them's the breaks. I would say though, the other, okay, so one probably really important thing I just want to say about infusions in general is it's really important to save beforehand, and then like almost like do all your leveling and your infusions and stuff all at once, but not save, and just make sure it's turning out the way that you want it to, and then save afterwards. Because the problem with infusions is you can it's really easy to screw up, frankly, and you know, you can waste a lot of time and resources by doing a bad infusion. So again, keep that in mind. You just got to be really careful. And again, I'd say one of the kind of better ways to do it is to just build up, you know, your monsters, grab a bunch of infusions, level them all, then save, and then do, you know, knock out a bunch of infusions back to back, and then again see if it turns out the way you want it to, and then save afterwards. You know, if you're confident that you're in the right spot. So, you know, it's kind of the old RPG recommendation is, you know, save often. So, all right. So earlier there, if you notice there, so we went with infused Kill Libra. That was the Goblin Chieftain level 22. So keep that in mind. Now here we're finally infusing the Bama Pama, which is absurd name. To get that critical shell yellow locked. I potentially needed 2 of those to yellow lock. I'm not. I think that's what I did. I think I did 2 of them actually. So here we're actually infusing Metallic Cactar, just level 1 for the Hindrance ability. Normally that's just a garbage ability, and you don't actually want that. But here for chocobo racing, it's actually useful. So again, level 1. Unfortunately, that Metallic Cactar, was that the? Oh, hang on. I think that was the Metalla Gigantar or whatever. I think it's the one that comes from here on the Arc Alt step. Because the actual Metallic Cactar has pretty decent infusion abilities. So, again, keep that in mind. Yeah, Hindrance. So that's Metalligantar. Metalligantar. Okay. Boy, I was not saying that right earlier. Metalligantar. But again, that's the one that comes from the Arc Out step, and it actually does come from the what are those things called? It's like a rift of some sort. You know, you can't actually see the enemy, and kind of like the Tonberries, if you've ever fought the Tonberries. But anyways, okay, so this looks like this is it. This is the fully built. So this is actually a little bit less difficult than I remembered it being. ATB Advantage is obviously red locked for the black chocobos, and those are, or that ability is, oh my gosh, it's one of the more useful ones. Oh, are we not done? I thought we were done here. Maybe not. No, okay, yeah, that's not gonna work. So, if you notice here, if I did this, it would knock off the magic plus 25%, which is actually what's getting me over 800 magic. Which, as much as I would like to do this to add Feral Speed 2, which is a Tension Hog, and that's your chocobo stats are increased when it's the favorite of the race. Again, I really question whether or not that's actually useful. Just again because I actually don't know. Whether or not that is useful because my stats are naturally over 800 anyway. So again, unfortunately, I just don't have the answer for that. So apologize, but the good thing is we don't need to do this. And you know, if it works that way, where okay, so it says it increases the stats when your chocobo is the favorite of the race. Which again, I don't know how you're determined to be the favorite. I don't freaking know, but regardless, if your stats are 800 and that's the max, well then that would be a redundant ability anyway. So and we wouldn't need to do it. So yeah, I guess keep that in mind now. If there's a different chocobo that's got some better stats, which it's very likely that there is. Again, I just don't even think that the black chocobo is necessarily the best chocobo to even make a racer anyway. But again, because I wanted to do it, that's kind of the reason why I went with this build. So keep that in mind, and I hopefully made that pretty clear earlier on as well. But okay, I guess I'm gonna name this thing. And I think I went with Surge because Chrono Cross, right? I don't know that that's a great or appropriate name for a chocobo, but hey, just looking at the names that we had here, that's kind of what I thought was a good one. I was trying to remember the name of the chocobo from Final Fantasy VII, the black one. I think that probably would have been a little more appropriate, but I don't know if it's listed here. I don't know why you can't just name your chocobo whatever you want. I'm not really sure. That seems weird. Maybe they're worried about, like, what would it be? Something like, because you can get lightning, I guess, as a monster, and so it might sound weird to name it the same thing. I don't know. Again, I'm not really sure why they did that, but like, why not? Why can't we just name our stuff? But anyways, all right. So that's Surge. So I'm actually going to do some racing, I think, hopefully, because what would be the point of doing a racing build guide and not doing any racing, right? But yeah, that is looking like that's the full set of abilities that I got. So we'll just see how these translate to actual. So the kind of crummy thing about this too is that the racing ability is a different name than the actual like infusion ability, which probably makes sense. I mean, having the infusion ability hindrance doesn't sound like a good racing ability at all. So yeah, that doesn't sound like that would translate real well to racing. But anyways, all right. So let's register Surge for the races. This is my red one. Yeah, we don't need that anymore. Congratulations. Blah blah blah. Whatever. Okay. So yeah, that red chocobo did some work for me. Anyways, all right. So let's get Surge in here. Oh, he's up at the top. So that's one other thing. So you can only register one chocobo at a time. So if you've already got one registered like I did, you have to take it back and then register your new one. So all right. So it looks like I've got Blue Streak, Sprinter, Marathon, Lightning Bolt, Lightning Blast, Dark Horse, Health Nut, Limelight, and Runaway. Again, I think Dark Horse and Health Nut don't work together, so Dark Horse was probably redundant. Alright, so yeah, it looks like I did go with Lightning Bolt. Okay, so that's stay at the front of the pack. Okay. Oh, so okay, there are some minor differences here. Lead the pack, stay at the front, stay near the middle, or stay at the back. My impression was, again, Blue Streak was allegedly a really good strategy, which means staying at the back of the pack. Which, that sounds super counterintuitive, doesn't it? Just to stay at the back of the pack all the time? I don't know. Anyways, so you can actually give yourself a little bit of a boost right at the beginning, which is what I did there. Which, if you notice there, my my chocobo was glowing. So basically, as the race starts, it'll count, count down 3, 2, 1. As the 1 is disappearing, you can hit the, I think it's A button on the Xbox 360 in order to give yourself a little boost out of the gate. And that's called, well, it's called boost, I guess. And then on top of that, you can extend the duration that's kind of available by using the Rocket Blast ability, or by having the Rocket Blast ability, I should say. And, okay, yeah, so sorry, that's a sprinting start, I guess is the term. So when you burst out of the gate sprinting, that's, if you, again, and you have to time it out, right? But the Rocket Blast actually increases the duration of that window. I feel like once you get it down, it's pretty easy to nail it every time, but Rocket Blast helps. So there is that. It's kind of interesting. I think I would have rather, like, had I maybe done this one more time, I think I might have gone with Supersonic instead, and just leading the pack the whole time. Yeah, so I don't know. Anyways, so my impression here is with, and if you notice there, I actually am betting on my own chocobo. Unfortunately, I can only bet 100 every time. Now, that actually might be the max. It probably is the maximum ever. And I to be honest, I don't do that much betting. To be honest, I usually end up just farming a lot of money in some other way, and then translating that into casino coins, and not actually making a whole lot of casino coins by betting on chocobos. That might not be the best way to go about it, to be honest. It didn't take me that long, and I guess especially if you enjoy these chocobo races, then you can just keep betting and betting and betting. But anyways, the Dark Horse passive ability there will actually apparently give you increased odds, which I assume that means that you get paid out better as well. But again, I usually always go with Health Nut just because I don't have to worry about my chocobo's condition ever. So a chocobo's condition is after you've done so many races, their condition drops, and you have to use certain items to bring it back up. And I kind of just want to be lazy about it, I guess, and not have to like continually do any sort of upkeep like that. So again, that's why Health Nut is amazing in my opinion. But it also nullifies Dark Horse's gambling odds increasing passive, I guess, whatever. So again, that's kind of what I went with. Now, try it out if you like Dark Horse and you like monkeying around with your chocobo's condition and constantly buying items in order to improve the condition. Go ahead. I just don't want to do it. So, anyways, all right. So as you win, it might be obvious, and it was kind of similar to the way the Final Fantasy VII's chocobo racing worked. But as you win, you unlock these other classes. Now, there's an interesting strategy, I guess, where if you win a certain amount and unlock the, I think it's Guardian class. Let me just make sure here. I think it's Guardian. Let's see here. So there's some specific items that are great. Yeah, it's Guardian class, it looks like. I'm just looking at the different rewards here. I'm looking for the Adamantite. Yeah, Guardian class. Okay, so what you can do is race until you've unlocked Guardian class, and then save your game and take a look at what races that you can do in the Guardian class, and if it's one of the ones that you want, specifically the Ushamgal Derby, which again awards you with the Adamantite, then you can complete that race and get the Adamantite. If it's not the Adamantite, you can use one of the Shuffle abilities, which changes which races are available. But the good thing is, by doing it this way and only going until you've unlocked Guardian class, when you use that shuffle, you'll just get a bunch more Guardian class races, which again increases your chances of getting the race that you want, which again, in my case, was the Ushumgal Derby. The goal was to get 4 adamantites, to get Sarah and Knowles, and I forget now off the top of my head which weapons those are. But again, keep in mind you do need those adamantites in order to get the, again, I don't remember which weapons they are, but they're really powerful. And on top of that, the only other way to get adamantite, if I'm remembering correctly, is by beating the Longui and getting it as a drop on the Arc-Out step. So, in my opinion, this way is way faster. And so the other kind of cool thing once you do that is, once you get that race and win it, it actually will. It'll probably unlock like the Felsi class for you, which is the top tier of races. The thing with that, or the thing that kind of stinks about that actually, is then it's more rare to get the Guardian classes again, or the Guardian class races. And so then what I do is once I've won that Ushumgal Derby and got that piece of adamantite, I'll actually yank my chocobo back out and basically restart it. And by doing that, it restarts the races. And so you'll basically build your way back up to Guardian class, which again is it's like 2 races or something like that, maybe 3. And then again, if you don't get that Ushumgal Derby, you just hit your shuffle again. And again, that to me that was the fastest way to get adamantite. Now, there are 2 weapons that you can get here. It's the cool ones here that, so specifically for Sarah here, it's the one with Manalink. That's the Nagaraja or something like that. Nagaraja. Anyways, I'm butchering that, I'm sure. And then Noel's version is, I think it's the Tower. Both of those are rewards from Guardian class, again, races. The other thing that you'll really want to get, though, and that's from the Dahaka States, or Stakes. And that's a Felsi class race, is the collector catalog. So basically, once you race all the way to the end and unlock because Felsi is the last class of races, you just keep racing and racing and racing, and you'll eventually get the Dahaka Stakes, and you win that, you get yourself a collector's catalog. Take that collector's catalog. I always take it to the Arc-Out step to Chocobocolina there, or Chocolina. And she can upgrade that to the durable collector catalog, which is amazing. It's an amazing item, and the earlier that you can get that, the better. So that's pretty much Chocobo racing. That is how to do it. That is how to build it, or build your Chocobos. Again, the black one I don't think actually is the best Chocobo to build. It's a bit complicated, and but whatever. I wanted a black one, so that's what I did. And again, Chocobo racing, the earlier that you do it, the better off you're going to be. And yeah, I guess those are my tips and tricks. Hopefully they were useful to you. I feel like this guide could have been a little bit better with my infusions, but I think if you really look at what I did, it'll be pretty, I'm not going to say self-explanatory, but you should get the idea of exactly how to do it. So again, hope the guide was helpful. Hope you join me for more, and thanks for watching.